Good afternoon, one and all present here, and thank you for making it here. Welcome to the August audience of thinkers, innovators, and change makers. I am Archana, your host for this webinar, and besides taking other administrative responsibilities at Chitkara University, I also take care of the research and innovation network at the same place. So we are all struggling now to come out with this precarious situation which has been created by COVID-19 pandemic. And as we have all locked ourselves in the homes in many countries around the world, there are some questions topmost in our minds. What is going to be the life post lockdown? We have all parked ourselves in our homes and already are traveling very, very less, only for very essential services. So what will be life without or minimal travel? In a country like India, where for every small reason, we can find ourselves socializing, meeting people, making friends, merrymaking, dancing, singing. What will be life without socializing? With minimal resources. And the world has seen the Great Depression, the economic depression in 1929, and the experts suggest that this particular economic slowdown or the depression is going to be worse than what the world saw in 1929. And most of us, in fact, none of us has seen this. And I think only a very, very few, if there are any, would have seen it. And above all, what will be life post-COVID? Vis-a-vis, we all have been so bugged up, perplexed, with so much of traffic on the roads, and we have all stuck up in traffic jams at one point or the other during a day or during any week, a given week. We have learned to live with so much of pollution, especially in India. But what will be life with so much less air, water, noise pollution, which all of us have been witnessing in the last couple of weeks? All of us have been hooked to internet for the last couple of weeks, in fact, 4 weeks now. The students here present here in this gathering, the educators, we have been trying newer educational models, and to some extent have been successful in all that, in that also. But thinking of it, what will be life with newer education models? And work from home. This has been forced upon us. We have never been, at least in India, it's not been on new. It's not never been a normal. And so above all, if you look at the positive side of it or negative side of it, we can look at this question as what will be life with less chaos? And all these questions, they have personal and public perspectives to various dimensions. These questions, when we are trying to answer the questions in our own way, there are public and personal perspectives to all these questions. So with that in mind, and if you see, one thing is for sure. I mean, if I think about it, the post-lockdown life will not be the same. And it will be undoubtedly be different, both at home and at workplace, and even at public places also it's going to be different. So it is always wise to brace ourselves for adapting to changes. And a convenient way is to wear a green hat and invite ideas from all around us. And however stupid or silly the idea may sound in the beginning, probably at its heart, on its core, it can create a life-changing solution for each one of us. In fact, I remember an episode somewhere I have read that in olden times when the lifts were just invented, the elevators, and there used to be electrical shutdown, and people used to be trapped inside the lift. It used to be so claustrophobic. And in 1930s, one of the inventors might have thought of that: what if the stairs would be, running on their own and carrying people up there, so people would not at least feel claustrophobic when the electricity is shut down. So at that time, the idea might have sounded stupid. But today, that invention, that stupid idea is now known as escalator. So with that in mind, with that background, I have a question for all of you. Do you have an idea which can help fight the problems generated because of COVID-19? If you can help people in thinking and keeping positive, and if you can generate technological solution, then yes, NOVATE 2020 welcomes you all with open arms. So what are we going to do today in this webinar is, we have already discussed about the background and motivation for NOVATE. Fortunately, we have got friends here, but friends doesn't mean they are they're only friends. We have got some real thought leaders drawn from around the world to be present in this panel today. And in a short while from now, you will get introduced to those experts. Then we are going to discuss about the theme areas and prizes. And further on, we are going to discuss about any queries that you may have. So with us today, we have these four panelists. And what I'm going to do is to introduce you to all of you to one of them, Mr. Sumir Walia. He has recently won the Asia Inc. 500 Award for Startup Ecosystem Champion for North India. He's also the director of Center for Entrepreneurship Education and Development at Chitkara University. He has mentored over 150 startups during his career as entrepreneurship mentor, and has been a Bollywood journalist also. So over to you, Sumir, and I would like you to give this privilege of introducing the panelists today present here, who have been, I'm so thankful to them that they have volunteered to be present here to invite the innovators, entrepreneurs, students, faculty members present in this August gathering and this webinar today to how to innovate, how to scale their solutions, and how to become entrepreneurs. Over to you, Sumir.
Thank you very much, Dr. Archana. First of all, thanks to you for putting up this very thoughtful challenge and something which is very much required in the times we are going through today. But human beings, you know, are very amazing people, and they are very adaptive. And the kind of efficacy India has shown in adapting to this change is something amazing. And owing to this entire change, the leadership at the university thought of coming up with this challenge, as the ball needs to roll, and something great would come out when we set up a model of engaging with innovators in our country and abroad. The program, NOVATE 2020, is in its fourth year, and the way it has garnered goodwill in the last few years is something very much commendable. And it is all due to the efforts at Chitkara University, especially the team at Research and Innovation, to bring this all together. And we cannot forget the people who have been family to Chitkara, and some of them, noted personalities, are here on this panel today. We cannot thank them enough for being with us, and I would say holding our hand to greater opportunities and bringing all this together and even supporting us today. So as Dr. Archana mentioned, this is a great opportunity for everybody. So people who are attending and who are hearing us, it's a great opportunity. We are very happy that the government has come together always for us at the university and for other academic institutions by not only supporting morally, but also supporting us with a lot of funds to do such endeavors and steer them. So I would like to first introduce Senior, a great startup champion, I would say, somebody who's a globetrotter and who's doing great work in India as well as in Indonesia. And he's half of the year there and half of the year in our country. He's one of the successful founders and champion of India Fund Fest, which has seen over 50 to 100 crore of funding in the last few years, and made many dreams of various young startups to turn them into reality by they having successful rounds of funding from investors. And he's also a life coach, and he also had a background in film production, and so enjoyed two wonderful careers, and he's fully determined right now to build Asia's largest digital academy uh, with roots in Jakarta and Indonesia. And not going further much on that, may I have the privilege to introduce to our audience Mr. Nalin Singh. Thank you, Nalinji, for joining us from Jakarta and sparing your time to come over and support us for this initiative. Thank you very much. May we have a word from you?
Thanks, Sumit. Thanks, Dr. Archana. It's the energy that both of you bring that has always kept me engaged since I've come to know about your university. The kind of innovation culture built under Dr. Archana, and then the accelerator and incubator programs, they are quite a role model for everybody. A lot of people are sitting with their heads in the sand thinking this will go away, but this is here to stay. And it's good that Chitkara is taking a lead like this to stay ahead of the curve rather than sit and wait it out. It's a great opportunity for youngsters, I think.
Thank you, Nalinji. Thank you very much. That allows me to move further and introduce somebody who is also one of the most, you know, successful person in the field of mentoring, especially very early stage startups, and who was also a great curator of startups, especially in the east side of the country, with his roots in Calcutta. And I'm discussing, and sharing about a wonderful person, Mr. Arijit Bhattacharya. We are apologetic on his name there, but he was very happy about it. That let it be. We will let people, feel that there is some real Arijit Singh here. But pardon Arijit on that. But thank you for accommodating on that note. But thanks for joining in. Arijit is the founder of Virtual Infocom, and he also represents as a consultant with ADB. And Arijit, maybe have a 1 minute of a quick sort of an intro from you.
Hi everyone, happy to see the vibration, happy to see the positivity. Always, whenever I travel to Chitkara, I always see the kind of positive vibration that the whole campus has, and especially ma'am and Sumed. Uh, to introduce myself, I'm just a small human being trying to do good things in life. Been traveling across the world, trying to help. Startups, trying to help people who have most probably got some kind of prototype with their hand, fundraising, scaling up their ventures. So to introduce myself, I'm founder of Virtual Infocom, India's one of the oldest game development and virtual reality company. And I'm a consultant to ADB as well as I'm senator for WBAF. So those who don't know WBAF, it's actually World's Business Angels Forum, and we try to help people to raise fund, invest money. Certainly, I'm associated with a couple of other venture capital funds, trying to help the ecosystem as much as we can. So we are all here to actually boost the ecosystem, help each other. So post COVID-19, most probably will be the hand holding for humanity, and we are looking forward for the same.
Great.
Thank you very much.
Bhavish,
Thanks a lot.
Bhavish can
Bhavish
unmute.
is not available on the video, but I think he can hear us. Bhavish, you there?
I think Bhavish, you will have to unmute yourself. Can you unmute yourself? Yes, Bhavish is there. Probably his video is not on, but you can go ahead.
Yeah, hi, Bhavesh. We'd like to introduce you to our audience and dear friends and seniors and colleagues. Bhavesh is a very seasoned investor. He's been in the startup ecosystem for over 15 years. He's lived and educated himself in the West, in the US, and presently he is one of the founding partners of Modular Capital. In fact, at the India Fund Fest, Bhavesh and his team did a very decent investment in the startups, which happened on 6th of February 2020 at Chandigarh, hosted by National Calculus and Calcutta University. So I would only say about Bhavesh is that he's diehard positive chap and always ready to help. He's very analytical loves to understand the logic. His wisdom has really, over the last 2-3 years, helped Chitkara, and our startup ecosystem, fine tune ourselves on our approach towards developing young entrepreneurs at the grassroots level, especially at very, very early stage. So, Bhavesh, thank you very much for joining us. May we have a few words of introduction from you, Bhavesh?
Yeah, thank you, Sumer, for a very warm introduction, and thank you, Professor Mantri, for inviting me today. I think what I really like about what Seed is doing and what Chitkara is doing is that they're actually making sure that the universities are not a place for people to come and search for jobs. It's very important that at very early stages of the young youths, they are able to take up entrepreneurship. And for entrepreneurship, typically you need two things. You need seed capital and you need ideas. The young kids have all the ideas, and with your mentorship and seed capital, I think they can potentially solve some of the big challenges we are seeing, whether it is COVID or post-COVID scenario. I think it's very good to inculcate this habit very early on, right?
Absolutely.
Okay.
Well, thank you, Bhavesh. And before I forget, I would also like to introduce Dr. Archana Mantri. And Madam, thank you very much. She's our heading of research and innovation, and NOVATE is her brainchild. And the team has come together to support this great cause. And I hope the next time we spend on this panel and on this program, will be of great meaning. And we are very happy to see an overwhelming response of over 1,000 people coming and registering, and look forward to a great event coming up in the future. It's got some great incentives, and I also have to make an announcement in the middle of the program. Something very amazing for startups and the participants who are participating today from National Cultist side. And over to you, Dr. Archana. All the best for the program. With you.
Thank you, Sumer, and thank you, Nalin, Bhavish, and Arijit. And I'm curious too now, what is the announcement? And this is going to be a surprise for me also, probably. And if it is coming from Nalin, it has to be something big. So anyway, we all will wait for that announcement. So moving on, I'm going to introduce the themes and the idea behind NOVATE. So while in the lockdown, I was trying and thinking to keep positive myself. And I was reading this book, The Power of Positive Thinking by Norman Vincent Peale. And I came across this 3-point formula for prayer, which Peale has given. And it is comprising of prayerize, picturize, and actualize. Without going into the details of what Peale has said, for that you will have to read the book yourself. But this 3-point formula for prayer sort of got struck and stuck in my mind, and NOVATE took birth. NOVATE 2020, by the way, the whole NOVATE theme, the whole NOVATE idea, the whole NOVATE initiative is not new to this year 2020. We have been doing NOVATE, the largest innovation challenge of North India for last 3 years, and this is the 4th year that we are doing it. So anyway, coming to the theme this year of COVID-19 pandemic, and also trying to think and keep positive myself, prayerize, picturize, and actualize. And how is it related to NOVATE? This is what is the theme, and this is what is the practice. So in prayerize, now this is for the people who want to submit entries. So for the prayerize section, you have to think of ideas and submit your ideas for novel ways to think and keep positive. And these ideas can be drawn from medical science, from ancient and old practices. They can be drawn from alternate therapies or from diverse cultures. This is what is the prayerize section. In the section picturize, we invite ideas in the form of pictures, cartoons, flowcharts, block diagrams that can help fight the war against COVID-19. And the theme areas I'm going to just touch upon within next few minutes. And for picturize section, the entries are to be submitted by 10th May, even for prayerize. Now, just to clarify, the two sections, prayerize and picturize, they are completely independent of each other. So anyone or each one or all of you who are present here would like to submit your entries either to prayerize or to picturize or to both, you are most welcome to do so. And the last date for submission for your entries to prayerize and picturize sections is May 10th. Further on, the ideas which will be submitted by 10th May, we will shortlist them. The jury will be there, we'll shortlist them, and then comes the actualized section. And for the actualized section, whatever ideas you have submitted for the picturize in the form of ideas, block diagrams, flowcharts, cartoons, whatever it could be, and for the prayerize section for novel ways to think and keep positive, you will have to submit to actualize section actual simulation AVR based AI ML based solutions, a complete solution. It should be a complete solution for which you have submitted your idea by 10th May in prayerize or picturize sections or both. So this is what is the actualize section. And for the actualize section, the last date for submitting your entry is May 30th. Coming to theme areas. Now, COVID-19 has generated a whole world of problems. Positive, negatives, it is for us to think, but the perspectives could be personal or public. Now, tracking and geofencing, you have all heard of the Arogya Setu app, which has been launched by the government of India. Now, I will not talk about the limitations or the advantages or disadvantages of that app, but this is just a sort of an app for tracking the COVID-19 patients and healthy people also. But can you aid that app, or can you generate a solution which is better than that, or anything else? You know, tracking and geofencing COVID-19 patients is going to help a lot in fighting the war against COVID-19. Then sanitization, hygiene. These are going to be cleanliness. These are going to be the three things which are going to be the way forward for the humanity, unless we find a solution in a vaccine, or maybe eradicates by itself, the COVID-19 eradicates by itself. So sanitization, so how can we make those solutions scalable? So that is the second thing. Then effective delivery of essential, and even I would say non-essentials, because if the economy has to boost up, you know, things will get manufactured and finally they have to reach the masses and the end user. So how you can have the effective delivery with all these constraints in mind and in place to people. So that is another theme area. Then social distancing. So people have been talking, experts and everybody has been talking that social distancing is going to be the new normal. So if that is going to be the new normal, it is not going to come, the measures are not going to come overnight. We have to find effective ways of implementing social distancing. And you know the gravity of and the magnitude of the problem, thinking of the country like India. Crop harvesting in most of the places in India, the crop is getting harvested. It is already the time to harvest the crop. Labor is a problem. So how can we develop and find solutions to crop harvesting using minimal labor? Work from home is also a new normal. So solutions, but for manufacturing industry, do you think there exists a solution for work from home? DIY kits. So all these and the perspective and the dimensions of the problems need to be thought in the personal and public perspectives. So these are the theme areas, but don't think that they are only limited to what the 7 points which have been listed here. If you have a related idea, related problem in your mind, and if you have a solution, you are most welcome to submit your entries. And before I move forward, I would encourage the participants and the attendees here, if they have any idea in their mind and they want to sort of get a quick, I would say, assessment and endorsement from the expert panel who is present here, please keep on typing in the questions window. We are going to take it after the presentation is over and after expert comments from the panelists here. So please keep on typing your ideas if you want a quick endorsement. You can also type in your questions regarding NOVATE Plus, and you can also type in your comments if you have any, or suggestions if you have any, in the questions window. Please keep on typing it. And if for the paucity of time we are not able to take all those questions, this session is getting recorded. We are going to send quick reply to your questions on email. So please keep doing that. Moving on about the awards. So we have, the Chitkara University has got 2 types of funding, especially to support innovation and entrepreneurship from Government of India. One is the New Gen IDC, which is supported by NSTDEB. And we have also got Mighty Startup Hub, which is Type 2.0. And this is supported by the Ministry of Electronics and Information Technology. So 3 prototyping grants of up to 2.5 lakhs and 4 prototyping grants of up to 4 lakhs. These have been sponsored by these two agencies. And then apart from that, the best project is going to win a cash prize, no questions asked. If the jury decides that this is the best project or the idea or the simulation or the AR VR based solution, then Chitkara University is going to sponsor straight cash prize of rupees 5 lakhs. Apart from that, the Prayerize and Picturize sections have got 30,000 cash prizes separately. In fact, so the best entries, maybe top 3 in Prayerize and best 3 in Picturize sections are going to get a total of cash award of rupees 30,000 before they move on to get prototyping grants or the 5 lakh rupees grant, who knows. And then above all, we have got, if any of these ideas or any of these prototypes, if they have to scale up and they have to make commercial product out of it, then there is a research grant available of up to rupees 75 lakhs, again available and sponsored by Chitkara University. So that makes it about 1 crore of rupees, taking all of them together. And this is how NOVATE is going to support the national fight against COVID-19. So this is all from my side so far as the NOVATE is concerned, but I'll take a quick opportunity to just flash the NOVATE website also. And this is our NOVATE website, which is just chitkara.edu.in/NOVATE. If you have any other queries, any other things, you can always visit this website, which is a static page, and you can, here is the click here. If you want to submit to Prayerize, and a Google form will open up, you can submit your entry there. And to a Picturize, again, there is a click here. So to Prayerize and Picturize, you can submit by clicking on our website, which is chitkara.edu.in/NOVATE. So this is all from my side, and I will take this opportunity to go round the panel and ask specific questions based on the expertise that I know and I thought is going to help the audience a lot. So first of all, my question is to Mr. Nalin Singh. Nalin ji, you have seen the world of innovation from a 600 feet height. What do you think about this initiative NOVATE, and is it going to help the innovators? Is it going to make a difference to the world post-COVID or post-lockdown? Nalin ji.
So for any startup ecosystem, you need the 3 I's: innovation, industry, and investment. Now, Chitkara was already doing the innovation part. You have more than 150 patents, if not more by now, done at campus. It was already doing the industry part, where it had got all these industry connects, and I've seen so many occasions when they come, speak, interact, mentor all your incubatees and the people in accelerator program. Now you're actually making the leap to the last mile of the investment part. This opportunity is very, very important, because as COVID happens, and people keep saying life will change forever. Yes, it will change forever, but it is also the greatest time of your life. So first, to complete the earlier thought, you're completing the loop with investment, and this, because of COVID, as the government recedes in its spending on such things and moves more into health, hygiene, etc., people like Chitkara have to step in, and you are doing that. So yes, it is very useful, and the youth should take advantage of it. But look at the larger question. Firstly, on a lighter note, I think the Singapore Prime Minister said it very aptly when he said, we should now free up all the animals in the zoo, because we know how it feels like caged in our houses. But on a more professional note, if you look at, I have a 22-year-old son, which is largely what the audience is made up of today, that age demographic. He always lamented the fact that all the ideas are taken. Anything I think of, people have already done. Even if I think of writing a book, people have already written a book on that, which is not necessarily true, because in the mature economies of America and Europe, etc., they were still forming unicorns with new ideas. The nature of the idea was changing while we were sitting in the most problematic countries socially, and demographically and still not being able to find ideas. Well, your wish has come true. What our generation never saw, which is a disruption that comes once in 100 years. The only time we saw it was my grandfather or great grandfather, which was the independence movement. That opportunity has come to you. 55% of the Fortune 500 companies in the world were formed in a recession or in distress or during a depression. 58 of the unicorns out of the 350 were formed in the 2008 financial crisis. While you are wondering that this is a problem, the smart ones are taking this as an opportunity. This is not a time to follow a spiritual guru. I'm a life coach myself, but I'm telling you, don't follow them and start doing inner cleansing and looking inwards. This is a time to look outwards because the new dawn has arisen. And if you can't see it, you are not an entrepreneur. This is the greatest opportunity of our times. Like I used to ask my grandfather and people of their age, where the hell were you when Gandhiji was marching to Dandi? Were you hiding? Were you supporting the British? Or were you compelled to do something else? Your grandchildren will ask you the same question. When this great grand opportunity came, where the hell were you hiding, dad or mom? Were you working a job or were you watching Netflix? Which most of you are doing idling away on your sofas. Don't be an armchair entrepreneur. Don't take risk and go out, but let your mind wander and be curious. It is the greatest opportunity you're going to get in a lifetime. It's come to you on a platter at a time when the country was about to boom, at a time when startups and being an entrepreneur is socially acceptable, at a time when there are people like Chitkara University trying to support you and give you money, unthinkable even 10 years ago, even the government doing it. This is the greatest opportunity of lifetime. And like Bhavish said, universities today are for your skills and for you to launch your career as a job seeker or a job creator. They are truly crucibles where you can try out stuff and get initial funding, support, mentoring, and then take off. It was not so earlier. So, in short, greatest opportunity you can ever have in this lifetime of yours. And what Chitkara is doing, it is a little bit ahead of the curve because most of the universities have their heads buried in the sand, thinking this will go away. It will not go away. Blended learning is here to stay. In first 15 weeks of 2020, we have leaped 15 years of digitization. Life has changed forever in that manner. Campuses will change forever. The way we teach, the way we learn, the way we socialize, love, hate, watch movies will change forever. But it will change in 3 places. For God's sake, don't come and tell me you've got a new mask that you've created. There is greater money to be made in the paper behind the mask, which only 2 companies in the world make. There are solutions required for 3 areas of life. 1, personal life, where if you have to even worry how your pets are going to be sanitized when they come out from their evening walk. 2, your workplace. And 3, your social life. 3 clear areas where you need to find solutions. It's humongous. There are millions of ideas and challenges that are there. Find them. Globalization is shattered. People will look for local solutions, local jobs, local products. Find them. You will never find an opportunity like this. Back to you, Archana ma'am.
Thank you, Nalinji. I think you have made it a point. This is here to stay, and we have to live with Corona. And we have to find in these difficult times only, I don't know, I should stop calling it difficult times, but these are the opportunistic times. You have to look for opportunities, grab it, make money out of it, make your life out of it. I think that is what you have said. So moving on to Arijit and Bhavish. The pre-wise section asks for the innovators and for thinkers, for change makers to submit ideas about how to think and keep positive. Do you think it makes sense? Do you think it is necessary to be keeping positive? And are there ways existing somewhere in the world to keep ourselves and to think positive all the time in these gloomy times? I can say that. So Arijit, over to you first, and then we'll move with the same question to Bhavish.
Well, I feel that the whole universe works on a very simple concept called darkness. Well, if you move out of our own normal comfort zone, human being needs always, the light. I mean, we need light to see something. But there is a fine understanding. If you want to fetch for the real ornament, the real gold, and you can't see beyond darkness. You are not going to fetch that. For the same reason, if you go back to our mythology, I'll touch upon a few of those gods and goddess. If you go to goddess Lakshmi, you will find owl as one of the symbol for goddess Lakshmi. The reason behind this is basically owl can see beyond darkness, and it actually goes for that prey so that it can snatch it out of that darkness and can feed itself. The symbol of goddess Lakshmi means the money. So money is always there, and it is inside the dark. Intelligent mind need to look beyond that darkness and find that money part. So for any entrepreneur, this is the right time, I believe. Okay, I'll touch upon few of those basics. Um, Honestly speaking, a lot of life change. So I'm a visiting faculty to one of the local college over here, and because of my travel, I thought that I'll be starting the online class schedules and all. So it actually happened before, way before COVID, I think 1 year back. And I asked people that, can I go for an online session while I'm traveling through some other country? And I'll make sure the timing will be same. I'll be taking in the same manner that I'm taking inside the class. Few of the students said, yes, sir, I mean, we can go for the online session. And few of the students said, no, we are not, we're not ready. Now, if you look at this situation, we don't have any other option but to go with the online session. When you talk about technology, nowadays technology is evolving very fast, and I agree with Nalinji. For the last 1 month, 30 days, huge number of innovation happened across the globe. People invented several AI-based solutions, several virtual reality-based solutions, wherein you can present yourself using augmented reality into 5 to 6 different places. Those kind of innovations are coming out of home. People are actually innovating a lot of stuff sitting back in their home itself. The only reason is they are more comfortable and they are there with their family. They find love. So usually human beings do have a tendency go very fast, you know, and feel that I don't have time left in life and I should run more faster so that I can achieve some amount of goal. Maybe COVID as a destructor, as a symbol of Shiva, came in our life and asked us that, hold on, guys, you are not doing right. You're not doing justice in your life. Hold it back, think, become positive. I'm giving you a second chance to revamp our life, to understand Mother Nature, and work for humanity. Technology will always be an enabler. It will always be a small tool which can help humankind to move forward. So multiple number of technology solutions are coming from those guys who felt that I have to achieve some goal in my life and I don't have time left. Now they are thinking we have got more time to think, concentrate, fix things, make something happen using maybe my computer, maybe using my small notebook, and collaborate with some other people. I'd love to share some small story if I'm allowed. I was taking interview of one of the director from Kenya, and she was mentioning in Kenya, the hotels, they changed their mode of operation. They are saying, if you are a traveler, you're stuck in our country, you come to our hotel, stay for the next uncertain number of days. I'm not going to charge you the way we used to charge the travelers and tourists. Rather, you pay me the basic fees, which is my own cost. You stay here, you put your people in different rooms. They're asking employers, company owners to be inside their hotel. They will take care of the hygiene, they will take care of the food, and you can work from their hotel. Wi-Fi is free, food is it with very optimized cost. So the business structure is now updating themselves. Multiple number of collaborations are happening, and I feel humanity needed that. Collaboration is the key. Like look at Chitkara. I mean, from a university perspective, a lot of innovation happens, and when you connect the industry and the investors with innovators, magic happens. And I think this is the right time to make some magic. Over to you, ma'am.
Thank you. I think well said, Arjit, that uh, you know it's a better time to innovate. You are at a comfortable place. You are with your family, and you are uh, keeping free from so many other worries. Like traffic, pollution, and so on and so forth. But you have opportunity also, as said by Nalinji. So I think these are better times to innovate. So there should be more good productive ideas which should come out. Over to you, Bhavish, with the same question, and I would also like you to touch upon the, there is a saying that you have a solution to a problem, but then what happens to its scalability? I think scalable solutions should come out at this point of time when we are talking of the perspectives of person, places, and the public perspective of the whole question and of the whole scenario. So do you think scalability is a very, very important issue at this point of time when the solutions are getting generated of these problems which are getting created?
Yeah. So, ma'am, I'll start with a few examples, right? So, if you look at the kind of sectors which will do well in the current scenario, so if you look at esports, right? I mean, esports, some of the esports companies are, now hiring Bollywood stars. Why? Because there is so much of attention glued to screens now, and they're seeing so much of, what they call as active monthly users that, they are actually going and hiring these stars to be able to attract a lot of these people. The question really is, to the scale question you asked, will this traffic wean off once the lockdown gets lifted, right? So are these habits permanent or not? So esports is an example. You look at telemedicine, right? And we've spoken to several pharma companies who are actually planning to launch telemedicine platforms. Why? Because the doctors they sell to, if they're not in the acute care space or in the non-COVID space, they have no practice. There's a fundamental change in the way people will come. Now, if you look at a traditional scenario, you would go to and wait in a doctor's lounge to be treated. Nobody's going to do that because now you're worried, oh, does this guy have something else? Can I catch that? So, the primary care is all going to move to telemedicine, right? So there's a change in behavior. Now, this change in behavior, typically, if you look at how, psychologists talk about it, it takes about 21 days. And the lockdown has actually existed for more than that. So a lot of these things are going to be permanent habit changing. Like blended, Nalin talked about blended education, right? I mean, I'm sure Chitkara is also thinking on those lines. So there are, habit changing trends which have happened in this lockdown, and we have to take advantage of these secular trends, right? And I think what my appeal to students is going to be, I keep emphasizing that do not go to university to get a job. The university is a place to get mentored and pick up skills, like Nalin mentioned, right? And this is, there will never be a greater opportunity to launch a new business. And yes, scale is going to be important. And I think the students need to keep in mind that do not look at an immediate issue which is going to be post-COVID, because you have to focus on things which are going to be able to sustain.
Yeah, thank you, Bhavish. I think that's a point that you made. Look at so the whole perspective of looking at universities, looking at education has also changed. So we have to make it a new normal, and think about and act accordingly. So meanwhile, as I go to Sumir to post his last comment here in this round, I would also encourage the participant and attendees to keep on posting their questions here. And before Sumir, you get ready for your comment, I have a question here from Chaitanya Rao, that what is the procedure to submit our projects? And also, do we need to present any fully fabricated prototype project or just a layout? So as I just showed Chaitanya on my screen, that there is a website called chitkara.edu.in/novate, if you look here, and then there is a click here to submit to Prayerize and click here to submit to Picturize, if you can see it on my screen. So these are the two places where you have to submit. At this point of time, when you are submitting your idea, you don't have to have a fully fabricated prototype or a project. So before I take the next question, I would request Sumir to please post your last comments for this round, and then we'll move to the second round.
Yeah, first of all, it is very enlightening to understand what the experts are thinking on the present scenario, the changes the new inculcation of habits and how we are going to deal with this positively and with some outcome. So I don't have a comment, but I have a quick question, very quick question for all the panelists, starting with Nalin. What do you think, Nalinji, what type of ideas are you expecting from such type of a program which we have ventured into at such a deep level? What can you name few ideas? You can give some sort of a idea to these students and attendees who are participating today in a very high number. What sort of ideas are you expecting? Referring to what you mentioned are the three things which are going to work in your social life, your personal life, and your work life.
So taking off from what Bhavesh was saying as well and what Arijit said, what forms a habit? Have you ever wondered why most of the fasting rituals in the world in any religion are for 40 days? The idea is that's the time it takes for you to cleanse your system and to form a new habit. You like it or not, you have been in lockdown for 40 days. The other assumption, which is fair to make, is don't think of this as a binary one-time event. This is here to stay in the sense that in a reduced way also, it will be like we live with malaria and dengue, we'll probably live with this. And COVID-19 may give rise to other versions. And you may have other pandemics of completely different kind. It is not outside the realm of reality to expect it with the density of population and the way we live right now. So what will happen is that personal hygiene, personal space, etc. will take on a whole new meaning, which may be a very good thing for Indians at large. And maybe the incidence of other health diseases will actually come down as people practice hygiene. The general flu, the general dengue, the general fever, etc. may actually come down. So don't think hospitals are going to have a great business. Maybe it will come down. Flus, etc. will come down. What ideas do you need? Everybody is concentrating and limiting themselves to ideas around home isolation because that is the pain they feel first. But you have to make a jump start and think of other pains that are going to come. And these are huge. You can't cross a chasm with baby steps. You need to take a long run, take a leap. You need a leap. So even your mind and your thinking has to take a leap forward. If you're going to think of the problems of today and try creating solutions, believe me, somebody has already created them. It's already there. You need innovation means you think a little ahead. I'm not saying 50 years ahead, 20 years ahead, 10 years ahead, because the average age of a company has come down. Fortune 500 companies, when they started building the list, the average age of a company was 64 years old, lifespan. Now it is 14. So the average age of companies also has come down. So don't think 20 years ahead. Think 1, 2, 3 years. I'll be happy with that. If you take even your personal space, what about pets who walk out and come back home? Are they not carrying dirt? Are your shoes not carrying dirt? Just because you leave them outside the house, is it not going to affect you? Will you not tie your shoelace? I mean, that's like saying I've closed my eyes in front of a lion. I can't see it, so it's not going to eat me. It's going to happen.
So you say that there is a lot of scope in personal hygiene.
Every aspect. Yeah. When people go back to office, are they going to use water coolers? Are they going to use the coffee percolators? Are they going to use the toilets? Are they going to speak to each other in a meeting? Are they going to do so many other activities that happen? This is about a sanitized office. Think factory, think construction, think co-living in construction, think where workers stay on site when they're making your metro pillars, etc. Then you take a social situation. People may go to theaters fewer, will travel through film flights. Don't think flights all the time. Think public bus, think train. Why do you think these rich man solutions for this rich man disease? Think Aam Janta. How are they going to travel? How are they going to eat? How are they going to maintain distance in houses that are so small? When they come out in public spaces, there will be Diwali, there will be Dashara, there will be Holi, there will be other things. When the danger becomes a little less, people tend to put it out of their mind, but it will come back. So you need to think of solutions that will help all those situations. Think 1 to 3 years from now. Think social as people go out. Think office, construction, all kinds of manufacturing, and personal life. Think beyond yourself. because you're already using masks and wearing gloves and have sanitizer. Now what? Is the guy going to buy food or buy a mask? Is the guy going to buy something, water to drink, or buy a sanitizer? Get real, man. These things are only temporary and only for the rich and the well-off in cities, for the so-called middle class. We have to take along the 700 million people, or out of which half have been pushed back into poverty because of COVID, and it'll take a decade of economic resurgence to recover. We have to find solutions that will take them along, because if the disease goes and spreads into those masses, it's just going to come back to you. Over to you, Smith.
I think your answer gives a fair perspective to our attendees that which areas where they need to think. And I'll just come directly back to Dr. Archana for the round 2, and then later on take inputs from our other panelists. Over to you, Dr. Archana.
Yeah, thank you, Sumir. We have got some quick questions regarding the submissions. I am tempted to take those questions. Sundaram Singh is asking, in the picturized section, do we have to submit the picture, or just we have to submit only our idea, which we have to make it? So in the picturized section, if you are able to look at my screen, you have to submit your idea related to the theme areas which are there here. You have to submit your idea or your solution, the proposed solution that you are giving to any of these problems which are getting generated because of this pandemic. You have to submit your idea in the form of a picture, cartoon, flowchart, block diagram. So there has to be a picturization of the idea. So it could be a block diagram, it could be a flowchart, it could be a picture, it could be a cartoon, whatever. So this is what it is. And then Rahul is asking, can we participate individually, or there is a need of team? So Rahul, you can participate individually or in a team. It is up to you. Aruna, I had already uploaded my idea. Is there any need to apply again? No. If you have already uploaded your idea, there is no need to apply again. And Sejal is asking if we have any queries in future, then to whom we can consult. So I am going to flash an email ID here, which is this. So if you have any more queries, you can write to cuidc@chitkara.edu.in. And on the website section also, we are going to put up now, by this evening, we are going to put up 2 phone numbers, and this email ID will also be flashed up there on the website. The website, I would again tell you, is chitkara.edu.in/novate. And you can either email your queries, or you can just pick up your phone and call at those numbers if you have any queries to submit. So moving on to the next round. As I said, out of these theme areas, I think that has already been, we have already discussed about the scalability of the solution. But okay, so Bhavish, I have a question for you. When we are talking of do-it-yourself kit ideas, do you think it should be limited only to making masks, and kind of sanitization practices? Only these 2 qualify for do-it-yourself kit ideas, or we can think beyond this also?
Well, I think in the immediate future, the market demand is going to be predominantly for those 2 areas, right? But again, there also, like Nalin mentioned, we are not one single country. We are a country with multiple sets of people with different affordability targets, right? So can we make something which will, let's say a labor guy who's actually working in constructing, can he afford something like that? Can we make a low-cost sanitizer which he can also use? Can we make a low-cost mask which is rugged for him, right? So I think creating these 2 ideas, but for creating them for 3 or 4 different segments, where so today if you go to a market and you went to a pharmacist, you can get a mask starting from 10 rupees to 250 rupees, right? So how can we make these things affordable? How can we make them more affordable, as well as make them for the current situation? Because one thing is for sure, hygiene as a market is here to stay post-COVID. You will see an enhanced you'll see an enhanced awareness about hygiene everywhere.
Okay, yeah, great. So and I'm just looking the 3 of you as investors also. I know that you also invest in startups and in good ideas. So what I will go round first of all to Arjit, and then to Nalin, and then to Bhavish with the same question. If any of these entries which get submitted, what will tempt you to invest your money as an investor in that idea. So Arijit, first of all you, and then Nalin, and then Bhavesh. What will you
Well,
look in that?
sure. I'll look at it in a way which can actually solve anything related to human needs. It might be health, it might be the education, it might be anything else. But until unless it targets the mass, is going to be challenging. I'd love to touch upon one example which I did during the COVID-19 time around 3 weeks back. I was humble enough to, or rather, I should say, uh, I was fortunate enough to look into one business based out of Denmark, who have made amazing application detecting COVID-19 using a simple smartphone, detecting those, using those sensors that a phone have. And they have used an amazing ML-based engine in the back end, which is detecting human face, human skin, and the retina, and understand that whether he or she got a flu, and if it is a flu, in a back-end calculation, if it can be turned into COVID-19 or not. That solves a huge purpose. Four different government around the world, they already took it, and they are scaling up fast like anything. They got in touch with multiple number of scientists who became board of advisors, and certainly this kind of solution works very easily. It might be COVID-19, it can be anything else, like you can detect some other kind of diseases using those kind of solutions. So anything which is very simple to use, very simple, very easy to use for the mass, people don't have to go through a lot of technicalities, and which can solve human need. And more important, this is the right time, I'll go with Nalinji, this is the right time for localization. India, yes, India is a kind of country which has got multiple country inside one country itself. Each and every state is a different country, and I'll more go with increasing the immunity boosting rather than only mask and sanitizers and hand gloves, because that's going to be the future, and that's going to actually help humankind. I firmly believe, it's completely my own understanding, human beings are actually meant to play in the mud. They are meant to play in the dirt. It's not about, we are meant to, sit in a nice cozy AC room and maybe AC cars and all. We took birth in from जो कहते हैं ना मिट्टी से हमने जन्म लिया है, so that kind of stuff. So until unless we improvise those kind of aspect, maybe a lot of things on improvising the healthcare, improvising human health, not on medicines, maybe using some organic food, maybe using some kind of maybe old Indian jari booties, right? Those kind of structures, if we can make it, I would be more than happy to explore that. And in fact, there will be certain amount of change, I believe, that is going to come on the kind of dress that we usually buy from the stores. We need to go for a very different kind of dress nowadays, at least for the next 2 to 3 years. So there should be a lot of innovation that needs to be there. You don't have to go for, say, you don't have to become a scientist for this. Just think simple. Sometimes very simple thing works, and it's not about the new innovation, it's about how you are executing your innovation. Business is all about execution. That's all from my end.
Great, Arijit.
Right.
Nalinji, quick comment from you, and just for a reminder that we have to close this session in next 10 minutes. So Nalinji,
I'll
comments
make
from you.
3 very quick points. One is about ideation. When you get ideas, it only proves you're human. And people keep asking whether the entrepreneurs are made or they are born. My answer is very simple. I can't teach you entrepreneurship. They are born. I can teach you skills, blah blah, all of the other stuff. But the good news is every human being is born with the critical skill for entrepreneurship, which is inquisitiveness and curiosity. It is only that over a period of your lifetime, the education system, parents, society does a good job of squashing that within you. Great time to unleash it and find it from within you. So the first point really is that this is a great time for innovation. Second, whether your innovation is right or not is a simple test. Arijit touched upon it. Is it a need or a want? If it's a want, nice to have, etc., throw it out of the window right now. It has to be need for survival. We are talking survival here. That's my critical assessment. And last point, after you have crossed the barrier of innovation, need, and want, I put money on people. Ultimately, I have to trust you that you will do the right thing with my money. It may fail this time, but you will come up with something that will make money sometime in a particular time frame. Ultimately, we back people. And the only way to get funding, if you're looking for it from outside, is to build the big C, not the CEO on your card, not the CXO, etc., and not the Hindi version of which is the Gali, but credibility. Credibility, and it only comes from knowledge. Use your time well. Credibility only comes from knowledge, skills, and having experience, etc., etc. That's what I'm looking for. Need, not a want, a guy who has the credibility.
Great. And Bhavish, to you, what kind of
Yeah.
idea would you invest in?
So like Nalin said, early stage investing is all about people. The mistake we typically do is in early stage, we start looking at business models. We start looking at the quality of the ideas, but none of those work. So I'm reminded of, something which Peter Drucker said, and I've always kept it to my heart. He says, strategy is a commodity, but execution is an art, right? And eventually early stage startups are all about that.
All right, great. So this was the second quick round, and we are moving close to the close of the session itself. I'll take a couple of more questions, which are again regarding the submission. And so Sahil is asking, help, as I'm designing Android app on COVID-19, so how can I submit the app, like need to submit source code? No, Sahil, you don't have to submit your source code as of now. You have to just submit your idea in the form of a, how this code is going to work. What is the solution that you are proposing? The code is the backend thing. So you need not to submit at this stage any code. And then AM, I don't know who AM is. Would a PowerPoint presentation be an acceptable format for the picturized submission? Yes, it can be. And do we have to submit to both Prayerize and Picturize for our solution? Jagdeep Kaur is asking. No, Jagdeep, it is certainly not mandatory to submit to both Picturize and Prayerize sections. You can submit to either of them or to both of them. It's your choice. Chanpreet, on the basis of scalability, what common points need to be focused? So, I mean, again, an open-ended question from Chanpreet for the panelists. He's asking, on the basis of scalability, what common points need to be focused or need to be kept in mind? Nalinji, if you can answer it.
So I think in living in India, we get a wrong sense of what is scalable. Most of our cities are the size of countries of Europe. You please first think of how you can get your product to be adopted by half the people in your apartment, 25% of the people in your ward or locality, and 5% of the people in your city. You have already made a world scalable product, because
Yes.
that demography already captures all the variables you see in countries. So, and now that all supply chains are disrupted and have to be thought through again, you have a great opportunity. Supply chain not only of goods and services and raw material, of men and manpower. Everything will have to be thought through again. Give me a solution. How can it be that you have a product that 8 out of the 10 apartments in your building doesn't take it? 5 out of your 10 friends don't use it. 8 out of 10 family members don't use it. First get that. I will teach you scalability, no problem. First get me 10 out of your 10 friends to use it.
All right. That was a straight answer. Straight answer. Sumir, would you like to comment on this scalability thing?
No, I think the points on localization and building immunity, what Arijit mentioned, I think this is a very valid point to have a local ground assessment. We always say that, and we've been saying it all the while, that at least do some ground research in Xylo. Do some research, at least go and get around 400, 500, 300, 400 people within the community. And that's where most of us startups, they don't want to do it. But that is the way. And I think once that is done, you can do your maths right and then take it to the next 1,000 and 5,000 and so on. So maybe Nalin wants to add something.
Add something, Nalinji.
On a lighter note, I'm past the social media generation, but please don't show me 3,000 friends on Facebook and 30 clients.
That's a good measure. All right. So we have a very good question coming in from Rohan. He's asking what will be the future of architecture and infrastructure development post-COVID? Any one of you, the panelists, would like to comment? You can raise your hand. What will be the future of architecture and infrastructure development post-COVID? Yes, Bhavish. And then
Yeah,
Sumit.
so I think
First, yeah.
Yeah, so I think I kind of briefly touched. So if you look at, I gave an example of what's going to happen in healthcare. I think there's going to be a fair amount of movement happening towards telemedicine. I see that. I think even commercial real estate is going to see, a few reduction. I think one sector which is going to see a lot of problem is co-working. Because you'll want to stay away from people. You won't want to stay with people in a very close vicinity, right? That is one. I think even factories, will have to maintain social distancing norms. That will add to certain amount of costs for them, because you'll have to be open to examining people. So imagine a factory where it takes 1 hour just for the shift supervisor to actually track the temperature of everybody who's coming in, right? So we'll be stuck with these kind of dire scenarios. But yes, I think commercial real estate is not going to see growth in the next 2-3 years.
Yeah, I wanted to add that, absolutely the changing of habits is the key, which referring to what we were discussing 45 minutes back from other panelists, that, the habits are going to change. We do have first aid kits lying dormant in our, vehicles, in our factories and all. Now they are going to be made mandatory on certain things of pre-checking the flu, and also innovation will happen in making a flu meter. Maybe a watch would have something which can measure your flu. There's a lot of things that are going to change. And coming back to the infrastructure and architecture part, obviously, I was watching a documentary on the DW, which said that in schools in Germany, they've already started to lay down the plan on how students will sit, and they were demonstrating it. So there was like a 2.5 meter of a 4 meter of a distance, how they're going to sit, what is the protocol when they enter, what is the level of interaction they're going to do. So definitely, this can go on, the whole answer and the discussion, but there is definitely going to be changes in infrastructure and all, and architecture, according to the guidelines and compliances, which will be newly laid down by local governments, national governments, and all, and so on.
Nalinji, you want to add something? And then Arijit.
So I'll pass an age-relevant comment because our audience is made up of youngsters. How do you think you're going to date in future? Are you going to go out with a stranger? Have you realized what has just happened to Tinder and all the dating apps? Have you realized what has happened to the oldest profession in the world? What will happen to all the massage parlors and all the salons? So you are going to change. Probably the sale of teddy bears will go up because they'll be easier to hug than your child or your spouse or a girlfriend or boyfriend. So think about all these things. Think differently. Think laterally. Over to you, Arijit.
Yeah, I feel the question was basically how will you build the next generation building, or how will you think of the new architecture? I feel this COVID-19 is going to stay most probably for the next 2.5 years, not more than that. Humanity will automatically improvise its immunity, as well as there will be medicine, and there will be a completely different kind of ball game. So it's not a question about how we build the next generation building, rather how we can build next generation pure hygienic building. If you look at India, it's not about building a high rocket, science related 1,000 stories building. You have to think beyond that. You need to understand how you can create some amount of smart living for people, for the mass. You need to understand how you can create hygiene related toilets. Forget about living. Think about those kind of things each and every day. When you go to your toilet, you are actually increasing number of virus. You are actually throwing away multiple number of virus. Think on that. Think on something which is realistic. Forget about building sky rising buildings that creates pollution. Think on something which can actually run using solar system, using the solar panels. Think on something which can automate your building system, which can actually improvise the human life. think on that. That's going to be the future. It's not about the architectural changes.
And there are many questions which have been posted by participants here, that can they submit more than one entry? Yes, you can submit more than one entry. But one of the participants has also written that right now it is not possible if we are submitting it using the same email ID. So let us work on that. We will come back with a solution to you on that. So my son is asking from behind me, not in behind me, but in front of me, can I submit a game? Can I submit a game which creates awareness about COVID-19? To which I have said yes, he can, because games are very good way of submitting, of creating awareness. So if people play more of those kinds of games, they will be becoming more aware, and so on and so forth. So, and then we will just take a couple of more questions, and then we will close this session with one of you, if you can just sum up in 1 or 2 sentences, one of you can decide and raise your hand. This whole thing of what post-COVID or post-lockdown the world could look like, and how should it be looked from an innovator's eye. If one of you can summarize that. Meanwhile, I will just take a couple of more questions. Harsh is asking if I have one idea. I have made PDF, one video also. Is there option to upload in NOVATE website? Yes, there is an option to upload it on the NOVATE website. Disha, if the innovation is based on the old Indian therapies, how to simulate those ideas for this event? That may be a structured approach. Can you please help on this? Yes, there are mentors available in the NOVATE team. We are going to populate the website with the mentor pool. And a couple of you have also asked this, are there any mentorship available on NOVATE for creating ideas and to submission and to further scale it up? Yes, there is a possibility. Sumir, you want to add?
Ma'am, sorry to barge in on this. I want to add here, we offer that, sort of a service for anybody who's participating and makes it to the top or even doesn't make it to the top. On behalf of all the 3 panelists here, we would love to clinically mentor them like we have been doing in the past. Mentoring is very critical. It is just not, theoretical. It is something we're going to take them through the journey, help them, make the their buyers, which I think Arijit will second that. He's very good at creating buyers for young startups, buyer meets, and investors when required. So obviously, mentoring all out to all the participants and attendees who are right now here. Definitely, we are very much there to pro bono help them, mentor and make their, dream a reality.
Great. And Arijit, just I'll come back to you for this closing comment, but we have a very good comment coming in from Ajay Goyal. He says, good evening, sirs and ma'am. Isn't that COVID-19 has taught all of us a great lesson in one sense, and telling us once again that nature is supreme, and to counter, if we all need to go back and find the answer in the huge wealth that nature has provided to all of us, then thanks to all the innovators and thinkers. So I think, yes, you have made it a point, Ajay, that yes, nature is the greatest supreme master, and we have to go back to his lab to understand what wealth the nature has in for all of us. So the answers should be found in the nature only. Yeah, Arijit, would you like to sum it up?
No, I think Nalin sir would be the best person. I can always add add some comments on it. But I actually wanted to give one line of suggestion to all the startups and all the students, whoever is applying for, the money and other stuff. Guys, startup is not about the valuation. I mean, maybe you are mistaking in a complete different way. I mean, startup is always making an organization and make your product or your solution 10x faster rather than thinking about increasing your valuation. That's a bubble is going to break. I mean, it's not about increasing number of investors into your company, rather increasing the number of sales that's going to happen. So if you're talking about post COVID, there is nothing called pre COVID, post COVID. It's all about the humanity. You need to understand the need. And I completely agree with the comment about the nature part. Maybe we thought that we are superior than others. Maybe we thought that we are greater than other animals, but think in a different way. I mean, for a cat, does it need to shout always to communicate with each other like with the other cats? They can look at some situation and they can give a vibration to you what's coming up. If you look at a dog's eye, it can actually tell you that there is some kind of mishap which is coming up. You are most probably not thinking on that line. बच्चे थोड़ा सुधर जाओ, बाहर मत जाओ, अभी रुक जाओ. We usually feel that we are driving a car and thinking यार बिल्ली ने काट दिया, काले बिल्ली ने, उसको either मार दो या फिर उसको उसके ऊपर चढ़ा दो या गाड़ी रोक जाओ. We never ever think अरे वो बेचारा बिल्ली आके बोल रहा है सामने खतरा है, रुक जाओ, स्लो डाउन कर दो. So think on that line.
Transmitters now. Anyway.
All right. Thank you, Arijit, for that very good comment and innovative, real kind of thinking. Nalinji, would request you to sum it up. Post-COVID, pre-COVID, during lockdown, looking at it from an innovator's point of view.
Yeah, so taking your thoughts forward, firstly, nature keeps teaching us, right? Earthquakes, tsunamis, in every possible way. We don't learn, so it gets more and more extreme. So events like these will keep coming, keep disrupting, keep teaching us till we learn. Point is, once the event is over, everybody forgets. So, you know, the tsunami also was not that long ago. But yeah, post-COVID, pre-COVID, you know, although COVID in direct impact may be there only for 2 or 3 years, if you go by research which says most children form their 80% habits, etc., between the age of 5 to 8, then one whole generation of the age of 5 to 8 is going to be post-COVID era. Like we call millennials, they'll be called COVID children. And they will know all these to be you know, programmed muscle memory in them, the social distancing and all of that stuff. So post-COVID, as we come out of it, I think it will be a slow recovery. While it is natural for a human being to be optimistic, bad things happen like they have happened. So to assume, like your financial projections, that it will go only in one direction like this without blips is wrong. To assume that humanity will only progress is wrong. It is like your ECG. Even to stay alive, it needs to go up and down. It can't be a straight line, you're dead. So coming out of post-COVID will be stop, start, stop, start. The direction may be upwards, but it will be slow. It will be stop, start. There will be pitfalls. We will go backwards many times. You can assume area-wise, street-wise, building-wise lockdowns. You may go to visit somebody, lockdown. You may go to your office, lockdown. So you have to be ready for getting surprised all the time. It will be slow, it will be sure, but it will come back one day. Not in 1 year, not in 2 years. It will take 5 to 10 years, anywhere between that, for things to be what we used to call normal, which the next generation will say that's old-fashioned. You used to actually go out and meet people in a party. You old-fashioned idiots. We do it on a video call now. So things will change. It will take longer than we expect, and little less than, you know, what the doomsday players are playing out. Just a ray of hope. As China opens up, there are aircrafts full of luxury goods being sent to China by all the top luxury good makers like Louis Vuitton, etc. Because the richest of the rich are unable to travel overseas to buy them, and they need to satiate their hunger for such products. So there is a market. It will come back. There is dawn at the end of this darkness, but it's not next moment or tomorrow. It will take time.
All right. So with that, we come to the end of the session. I have at least about 50 questions more flashing up, but I'm sorry, we'll not be able to take it up. What I'm going to do is just flash the email ID on which you can send your queries. And this is cuiedc@chitkara.edu.in. If you can look at my screen, or you can just visit the website chitkara.edu.in/novate, and we will have a queries section set up there where you can send your queries. We will also put up 2 phone numbers over there, over which you can call and ask your queries. But thank you so much. Thank you, the panelists, Arijit, Nalinji, Bhavish and Sumir for coming over, helping the innovators and helping us set up this NOVATE and the whole structure. Thank you very, very much. And thank you all the attendees for giving us a patient hearing. And we wish that all of you would submit entries to NOVATE. Together we will. Together we can. Together we will do. Thank you. Bye. Have a great evening. Thank you.
Thank you. Bye.